Welcome back to Globe Lines, your ultimate checkpoint for global geopolitical insights, where power dynamics and energy strategies shape the world stage. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest energy power plays of the year. OPEC just made a bold move that could shake up America's energy future. With production cuts, shifting alliances, and strategic maneuvers, the oil cartel is making its stance clear. But what does this mean for gas prices, U.S. energy independence, and global markets? Let's break down the major power moves that could change the game. OPEC's carefully planned supply squeeze is shaking things up. OPEC Plus just made a bold move, extending its production cuts into early 2025 and holding off any increases until at least April. This wasn't just business as usual. It was a calculated response to weaker than expected demand and rising output from non-OPEC players like Brazil and Argentina. By keeping supply tight, OPEC is aiming to prop up prices and keep its stronghold on the global oil market.
And I'm also going to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil. You got to bring it down.
Even with U.S. crude production expected to hit 13.59 million barrels per day in 2025, America won't be escaping OPEC's grip anytime soon. The global oil market runs like a well-oiled machine. When a major player shifts production, the ripple effects hit everywhere. OPEC's game plan is simple: control supply, control prices. And as long as they're calling the shots, no amount of domestic drilling will completely shield the U.S. from market swings. The Saudi-Iran power shift is reinforcing OPEC's unity, making the cartel even stronger. Saudi Arabia and Iran have been longtime rivals, often stirring up tension within OPEC. But in March 2023, everything changed when they signed a major reconciliation deal in Beijing. This wasn't just a political handshake, it was a power move that reshaped OPEC from the inside. Now, instead of butting heads over oil policy, they're teaming up to strengthen OPEC's grip on the global energy market. For the U.S., this is a tough pill to swallow. A more unified OPEC means tighter control over production, making it even harder to push back against market swings driven by the cartel. The old playbook, waiting for internal OPEC conflicts to shake things up, might not work anymore. Now, the U.S. has to rethink its approach to Middle East diplomacy and energy strategy to deal with a stronger, more coordinated OPEC.
Oil prices will come down, and when oil prices come down, everything's going to be cheaper for the American people.
Before we dive deeper, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us connect with more geopolitics fans like you. All right, let's keep going. Rising fuel prices are back, and consumers are feeling the heat. Here's what it means for your wallet and the bigger picture. OPEC's production cuts aren't just a headache for oil companies. They hit everyday consumers right where it hurts, the gas pump. By keeping supply tight, OPEC keeps global oil prices high. As of early 2025, Brent crude is expected to sit around $74 per barrel, possibly dropping to $66 in 2026 as more production kicks in. For Americans, that means price your fuel, higher transportation costs, and added pressure on the cost of goods. Businesses that depend on oil, whether it's manufacturing, logistics, or aviation, are going to feel the pressure, and those costs will eventually hit everyday expenses. Even with the U.S. ramping up domestic production, OPEC's grip on the market still plays a huge role in shaping global prices. This just highlights the need for the U.S. to double down on alternative energy and long-term strategies to break free from external price swings. The refinery crunch is creating a whole new set of challenges. Why the U.S. still depends on imported oil. Here's a little-known fact about America's oil industry. Not all crude oil is the same. The U.S. primarily produces light, sweet crude, but many of its refineries are designed to process heavy, sour crude, which mostly comes from OPEC nations. This creates a major logistical hurdle. Even as U.S. oil production rises, refineries still need imported crude to operate efficiently. Upgrading these refineries to process more domestic oil isn't easy. It would take billions of dollars and years of infrastructure investment. Until that happens, OPEC holds a key strategic advantage. Their control over heavy crude supplies means that, even with surging shale production, the U.S. still can't fully break away from foreign oil. This highlights the real challenge of achieving true energy independence. It's not just about drilling more, but also about refining capacity and supply chain logistics. OPEC's master plan, playing the long game to dominate the oil market. OPEC isn't just making moves, it's playing the long game. While the U.S. tends to react to short-term market swings, OPEC thinks ahead, planning its dominance years in advance. By holding spare capacity and tweaking production at just the right moments, the cartel keeps a firm grip on oil prices. This strategy gives OPEC nations economic stability while keeping global competitors on their toes. The U.S., on the other hand, has mostly chased short-term production spikes, cashing in on price jumps when they happen. While that brings quick economic gains, it doesn't have the staying power of OPEC's calculated strategy. If the U.S. wants to hold its own in the global energy game, it needs to step up with a smarter, long-term approach. Moving beyond reactive policies and thinking ahead will be key to keeping leverage in a market where OPEC is calling the shots. Countries around the world are making their own moves to counter OPEC's influence. OPEC's power moves have pushed nations worldwide to rethink their energy strategies. Major oil importers like India and China are ramping up renewables and locking in long-term deals with non-OPEC producers to cut their reliance on unpredictable oil markets. India is doubling down on renewable projects, while China is securing its energy future with overseas oil investments. Both are working to offset OPEC's production cuts and price swings. Meanwhile, Russia is facing its own set of challenges. U.S. sanctions have squeezed Russia's oil exports, and drone strikes on refineries have knocked out 10% of its refining capacity. With fewer buyers and reduced operations, Russia's production could soon dip below 9 million barrels per day. These global shifts show just how connected the energy market really is. While some countries push for independence from OPEC, others are caught up in geopolitical and infrastructure challenges, reshaping the future of global energy. The U.S. response, a high-stakes energy gamble that could change the game. OPEC's bold moves have put the U.S. in a tough spot. The shale boom has pumped up domestic production, but it hasn't insulated America from global market swings. President Donald Trump pushed to cut Russia's oil revenue by pressuring OPEC+, especially Saudi Arabia, to lower prices. But OPEC held firm, sticking to production cuts. At the same time, Trump pushed for more U.S. drilling to combat inflation, but oil companies aren't rushing in. Instead, they're playing it safe, focusing on profits over rapid expansion. What do you think? Can the U.S. shake off OPEC's influence, or are we stuck in their global energy web for the long haul? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. For the latest updates on global geopolitics and in-depth analysis, make sure to subscribe to Globe Lines and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.